All right, back with another one. Sound like a YouTuber saying that. Man, so beautiful outside. Sun's about to set. Just ate my post-workout meal, so we're going for a walk. But man, I think, I'm just gonna be honest, like last week was definitely not my best week. Wow, that sounds beautiful. Getting distracted. But no, last week was definitely not my best week, man. And I'm just like admitting that, right? Like it was probably 80% of what I could do, right? And some of you might be like, well, that's pretty good. It's like solid, like B work, right? And the reality is like, dude, I have much higher standards for myself. And those standards are, number one, getting 1% better each day. 2 is to go 110 fucking percent all the time. Because that's my standard I hold to myself. Because when you start to get complacent and appreciate just the average days and give yourself a pat in the back for something that you've been doing for the last 3-6 months, that's where like complacency sits in. But that's not really what I want to talk mainly about within this video. It's mainly about like how I was really, the thing that kind of got me out of routine last week was I tried a new sleep routine, right? So I was basically just like bumping back from 5:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. wake ups. And I thought that could allow me to have a little bit more sleep for this off season this off season push that we're doing. And sleep was good for like the first couple nights. I messed up on a couple things. Hormones kind of got all whack. Anyway, you know the story. It's bodybuilder things, right? But essentially, it led to me having a less productive week and falling out of line my habits for more than 2 days in a row, which I usually never do. And I just realized, like, in that moment, right, I reflected back to, even in the beginning of this year, when I started this with this like online coaching, and when I started bodybuilding like 2 years ago, and just thought back to like, man, think about how hard it was within that situation for me. I was just thinking about it, like to be able to get yourself out of that situation. Like I was always falling out of line. Like at the beginning of coaching, right? Like I would tell myself I'm going to do things and then just never get them done. And they'd last undone for weeks. I would start something new and I would never finish it. Same with bodybuilding, right? I would start doing a meal plan and I would stick to it for a couple of days and I'd never adhere to it for more than like 2 to 3 days. And that was the issue, right? It was holding me back from my progress. And the biggest reason, I talked a little bit about this in my story on Instagram this morning, was my why, right? I didn't have a strong why. And I figured out that over time, your why, the thing that drives you at a deeper level than just like, oh, I want to be a bodybuilder, or oh, I just want to be, an online coach, or I want to be a business owner, right? Something deeper than that, the thing that got you into it, like the childhood joy, or maybe it was a teenager, just like realization, right? That why, it grows over time. And so for me, last week was a reflection of, like I've grown so much because I don't have to go through these long periods where I just don't know what to do, or I can't get myself out of this period. Like it used to be so much worse than it is now. Whereas like now, like, yeah, I fell off. I say fell off. I kind of fell off my habits for like a week or like 5 days or whatever. But that's the highest extent it's ever been in the last like 4 months. right? I've been on locks, like with all my stuff, right? And what I've realized is like, it was because I have more things that are added to my why, this list, right? It's not usually just one thing, it's multiple different things, right? Like, why are you doing bodybuilding, right? Like, for example, like if you're a bodybuilder that's watching this right now, you're probably thinking to yourself, like trying to figure out like your why, right? It's going to be multiple things, right? But it can't be superficial things, right? I think a lot of bodybuilders get into this sport. I think a lot of people get into this sport. I wouldn't call them bodybuilders because they aren't. A lot of people get into this sport and they do it because they see other people online doing it. They do it because they see the clout, the fame, the recognition. They see the money that like influencing big name bodybuilders have, right? And they see the potential. Like in real reality, like there's actually not a lot about like money in bodybuilding like within the actual shows unless you're like a top level pro. But like they see this lifestyle online that they want to live. And the reality is like that's a fraction of what someone else's life might be at being the highest level of bodybuilding there is. And I'm not saying that's not realistic, because like you can do anything you set your mind to, and I truly believe that, and I will die on that hill, right? But it's more in the sense of like you're doing it for the wrong reason. You're not gonna go as far as the guy who does it because he loves it. And that is why I feel like I've been able to progress so much these last 4 months, is realizing that with coaching, it's not about the money. It's not about the fame and recognition. It's about literally creating these crazy physique transformations, and not just like physical transformations, but mental transformations as well. I really believe in the mindset behind developing a physique, because I think that's the basis of the physique, right? You don't have a strong mindset, you're not going to build a physique. You're not going to have any mental fortitude to go through the challenges of, doing a hard cut. I had to cut one of my clients' calories this week by a lot, right? And, I couldn't imagine what he probably felt like. He probably was a little bit like excited, but also nervous at the same time, because what I've instilled within him is this discipline, this mindset, right? Where he's always wanting to strive for more. And so for someone who doesn't have that built in, the idea of doing an hour of cardio a day, the idea of having 1,000 calories, like a 1,000 calorie deficit, like that is not a fun idea, right? But it's not about what's fun. It's about what's driving your true purpose, right? Sacrificing what you have now for what you want later. And I'm kind of ranting about this, but it's the mindset we've developed, right? And so it goes a lot further than just these superficial reasons if you're doing bodybuilding. And so going back to the why, right? By being able to have multiple different things that pull you out of that hole when you're kind of stuck in that pit of, not despair, but like pit of, almost like a plateau, right? Of progression, whether it be in or out of the gym. Like having that strong why of maybe it's your family that you're trying to provide for in your future. Think about your future family. Think about like your friends that you want to be able to hang out with and go around and travel around the world. Like if it's a financial, like if you want to get financially free, right? If in bodybuilding, like you do it because you love like the actual idea of stepping on stage. You love the idea of maximizing your body to the fullest potential and seeing how many veins can you get in your bicep, how many freaking striations can you get in your chest. Like if that's what you love, like pursue that, because that's your why. It's your deeper understanding of why you truly want to become this next version of yourself as a bodybuilder. Because when you're motivated by the wrong, superficial, worldly reasons, that is not going to provide the results that you want. because you're not focused on the actual sport of bodybuilding. You're focused on how can I earn more money? It leads to less progress, man. It leads to less time in the gym because you're trying to finagle with your camera and make sure that you get the perfect angle to show your bicep off to the camera to go viral, and to be able to spend more time researching what's the best peptide that's most popular that I can attach a link into my TikTok shop and earn more money. Like, dude, you're spending more time worrying about the wrong things. So by developing a good why, that's going to be able to help you get where you want to go. And it's something like I've realized with this past week, right? It develops over time. And in my case, before it was, right, like my why includes like a long list, but like some of the things that are on it, right, like my future family, right? I want to become the man that provides for his future family, that doesn't have to worry about, if I can take some time off from my job and go travel the world with my family, or take some time off and go away with my future wife somewhere, or, be able to, take a guy's trip somewhere, right? And also like get to the highest level competing within bodybuilding as I possibly can, because I want to strive to see that ultimate version of myself, but also ultimate versions of my athletes, right? I don't see myself doing bodybuilding forever, but I see myself coaching for a very, very long time because I love it. It's so much fun. But then all these things kind of wrapped up last week where it was like, it kind of hit me like, maybe I haven't been doing the best job at, making sure I'm checking in my clients. And like, that was what really hit me, was like, that's my why, right? I have my clients rely on me now. I can't let them down. I can't let my family down. I can't, like, when you're thinking about that, that's going to prevent you from making that lazy decision to wait till tomorrow, to wait to do that thing that you should do now, that extra mental fortitude that you should do your cardio today and not wait till tomorrow, because it's going to delay first off your physical progress, but also your mental progress, right? By not doing it today, you're subconsciously telling your mind that I'm fine with, not holding promises to myself. What does that lead to? False confidence. You don't build confidence up from not making promises to yourself and keeping them. So I don't know, just some things to think about for sure. Some of my thoughts from today. But I mean, last thing I kind of wanted to touch on before I end this off was like, I think another thing briefly that makes a big difference is having a community. And I can't tell you how much like that was what like really like hit me beyond just like obviously like the athletes, knowing that I have more athletes that I have to provide for. But like we have a community group chat. We're able to like, we have an intensity challenge that we're going right now, and we're trying to send like the coolest intensity video that's representative of intensity as possible. And so it's like, there's so many different things that are like driving me right now. And like that combined with like just having conversations with guys that are maybe going through the same things as me, or in the past, or experiencing the same things that I experienced in the past, right? Like that's a community you can be around where you're around like-minded individuals. It's why I started the Team PR 24/7 coaching, is not just for coaching, right? Because I hold myself accountable, right? But my athletes also hold me accountable, right? It's not just me holding my athletes accountable. We all hold each other accountable. So if one person falls and slips down, the whole team goes down with them, and they help them back up. They help them get back to where everyone else is at and back on the same page, so we can all make the same amount of progress and get to the top. Because that's what we care about. We want to become the highest versions of ourselves and the highest versions of our physiques. So if I can leave you guys with a couple of things with this video, it's number one, have a strong why. And not just one thing, but multiple different things that you can kind of write down on a list for yourself. Write it down every morning, every night, repeat it out loud. I know it sounds crazy, but it literally, that's how you're gonna be able to get it into your mind so that you have that like on locks, right? Because you want to be thinking about it a lot, especially at the beginning, because that's when it's gonna be the hardest. And then my second recommendation is, like, if you don't have a community already, find one, right? There's so many communities out there. If you guys are looking for a community and like you guys have been enjoying this content, definitely hit me up on Instagram. I'll put the Instagram link in the description as well. But also, there is a link down below if you do want to schedule a one-on-one call with me. And we can kind of talk over your goals for physique-wise, but also mindset-wise, right? If you've been struggling with this kind of stuff and you want a group of people, not just a coach, but a group of people that are going to hold you accountable and each other accountable, definitely think about that as well. I'll leave you guys with that. But for now, I'm going to be signing off. I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.